Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I was guided to do a video about intuition because I'm always talking about intuition in my videos, and I know like a lot of people have trouble with their intuition because they cannot trust it. They don't know what's gonna happen. They're scared of it, because intuition doesn't necessarily mean you can see the next step. So that is what I want to talk about. So I will just go through first how I developed my intuition. Um, I guess I was just pretty crazy when I was a teenager. I used to read a lot of self-help books and stuff because there were a lot of things going in my family that I needed to work through. And I started meditating pretty young. So that is one of the best ways to develop your intuition, especially if you're a teenager. If you're a teenager and you start meditating, your intuition just like whoosh, because it's pretty hard to get back to when you have become an adult. I think after 21 it will be hard to get back to it because it's just the mental thing. I think after 21 you have done 3 cycles of 7 years on this earth, and those two numbers have a certain way of how the energy interacts and completes its cycle. Okay, so I don't know much about numerology, but I know that number 21, 7 days, 3 cycles, is prominent to completions of cycles. So if you are over 21, this is something you have to develop through discipline, I think. Intuition doesn't, if intuition doesn't come to you naturally, most women have intuition, they just don't know yet because they have been conditioned not to believe in themselves since they were young. So I would just immediately start meditation. I would try different types of meditation and find the one that I like the most. Even sometimes if you do like 5-minute meditation, that's enough daily. If you do it daily, I would just start doing some type of yoga or some kind of activity, and then after that activity, after you've done all your stretches and stuff, I would just do a 5-minute meditation. It shouldn't take that long, and that would really help your body to revitalize and reheal all those what do you call it, torn muscles. And it would even like fasten the healing process. Sorry, my accent is super thick today for some reason. So yeah, I would just start doing meditation if you do not have natural intuition that you cannot trust, especially if you are scared of trusting your intuition. So how do you start trusting your intuition when that nagging feeling is telling you to do something else, when you know that sounds ridiculous and you cannot see the next step and what happens after that and what happens after that and stuff like that? So this outfit came to me by trusting my intuition. I see the bow, see all the cuteness. I mean, it has a little sexiness into it as well because it's see-through. I hope you guys cannot see the see-throughness, but this is me after trusting my intuition because I didn't know I was gonna wear this. And this process starts, like even the video today, I didn't plan this video. This is something that was nagging at me after I followed one intuition after another in today's events. So when I started trusting my intuition with those little things that kept nagging at me, I would just take the chance to do it. If something told me to do something, I would just take the chance and check out this bracelet. this is an intuition thing. Okay, so these days, you know, I just got out of like 6-year cycle of you know, I just got out of my the life I was building before, which was pretty, now that I think about it, which was pretty soft foundation. Okay, and these days I'm just literally broke. I'm just surviving on my last dime. And I was just waiting for the bus, and while I was waiting for the bus, I went to the mall, and I was just guided. I didn't know where I was going. I was just told, this feeling just nagged at me like, okay, you're waiting for the bus, just go check out the mall. I went to check out the mall, and then when I was in the mall, it led me to this store, which has, you know, salt crystals, and all that stuff. And I was just looking around there like for 10-15 minutes, you know, checking out the tarot cards and everything. I didn't know I was gonna buy, you know, spiritual stuff today. And I came by this bracelet because my the goddesses I was working with was nagging at me. Okay, I need an offering. Okay, so I was like, okay, what do the goddesses want? I don't know. And I was just, you know, browsing through their inventory, and I saw this one, and it is an absolute magnificent piece, you guys. This is like, you know, I work with Atlantis. By the way, I'm making an Atlantis VFX regarding my past life experience with Atlantis. So if you guys are, you know, relate with that, just send me a message and maybe we can do some collaboration or something. And anyway, yeah, so this came by through my intuition, you know. And even though I was like, okay, I have to save up, I was telling myself, my logical mind was saying, no, you're not gonna buy this, you have to save up, you know. But this feeling that kept nagging at me was like, buy this. This is something the goddesses are saying I should buy it. And I bought it. And I bought it, and I don't regret it, because I know this is going to be a protection for me now. This has been charged, this will be charged later, and this is going to be a future protection. Every time the intuition nags at me, the divine nags at me at something, every time this happens and I follow it, it flows. It just flows, one step after another, one step after another, one step after another. And you just have to sometimes trust the process. I am trusting this process now. The huge thing, I don't know where I'm gonna end up. I don't know what's gonna happen to me, and I'm so scared. But right now, my life is changing, and I'm just gonna trust it. And this is, you know, this is what the divine guided me to say, to talk to you guys about, is that if you're trusting the intuition, just trust it, you know, and let yourself flow. And life happens, and sometimes the logic, even if you think the logic can see as far as you can, it doesn't, you know. So because before I entered my last cycle of 6 years, I was following logic instead of my intuition. And to a certain length, I thought I saw my future in 6 years. And right now, where I am at is totally different than I imagined. When 6 years ago, before I started. But you know, life changes, and so does your perspectives, and the logic that was once so clear and so visible is no longer, you know, it no longer makes sense. So this is where the intuition comes in, because when you trust it and you don't know what the next step is, it's super scary, but then the things just starts to flow. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Now there's one thing about the intuition, is that you have to do shadow work. Let me take a sip here because my nose is just... yeah. So you have to do shadow work. You have to face your embarrassing parts of the stuff you have hidden. You have to acknowledge your weaknesses, because if you're not clear, your intuition cannot flow through. If your mind is not in a clear consciousness, if you know you have wronged someone, if you know you did something evil intentionally, and you know, even if it's a small thing and you haven't worked through that, you haven't forgiven yourself for that, or you haven't gotten forgiveness from another person for that, it will not flow. You have to be pure within. And I don't mean like, okay, you have to be like, angelic pure. No, humans are imperfect. We do all weird kind of shit every day, every minute, and that's okay, as long as you know that you meant no harm. So this is what differentiates a normal person versus a chosen one or a light worker, because even if people do so many bad things to us, we could never wish them the same things done to them. That is what differentiates us. We wouldn't suddenly forgive, because it's hard to forgive, because it still hurts, we still hurt because we never wished them harm. But you have that within yourself that says, no, I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone else. That's what differentiates us, and that's what divine works through. Because you are a healer, you are here to heal. First of all, you're not here to make other people do the things you want to do because you think you're a light worker and everybody should follow the same box. No, that's not the same path. Everybody goes through this path differently, in different way, and let them just walk their own path. You do your thing, I do my own thing, and I'm just here sharing this message with you guys because look how pretty I am today. This is all intuition. Alright guys, so trust here, okay? Trust here and everything will flow. Ciao.